Okay, that's the end of our closed session and back to open council meetings. So in the time that we had the closed session, the discussion was really about the risks to council, the risks to the community, risks to Swifts, etc., and the process in which council has undertaken this investigation and reached their conclusions. So in addition to the we're going to addressing some of those risks. I guess Bryce, you want to talk through the community benefits of Swifts, of this process for Swifts and for the community, which we talked in the closed session as perhaps something that could have been in the paper, but we'll talk about now in the open session.
So it was remiss of us not to mention in the committee report that the nature of sporting clubs such as Swifts is that they utilise their, for want of a better term, their sports club or their leagues club as a means of raising funds which they're required under their constitution to reinvest back into sport and recreation activities. So, for example, Swifts, in addition to operating the leagues club, obviously support the bowls club that's on site, as well as a number of sporting teams and clubs around the city. So, for example, the Swifts Rugby League Club is one of the largest in the city, and there's others such as hockey and a few others. So the point of all that is that for a club like that to be in a situation where they find themselves losing money is in fact a detriment to the community in the sense that they don't have the funds to be able to invest in those sporting activities. So in short, a successful club means that more revenue, which means more assistance to the range of sporting clubs that they support. So it's important, and one of the positive outcomes of potential sale of this facility that and the assumption that the operation will improve is that they'll have additional funds available to them to support sporting clubs in the city. Mm-hmm. So that's that element. Yep. In terms of further protections for the community that we can look at, certainly should that be the decision, I would suggest a recommendation that we proceed with some sort of caveat on title that ensures that the premises remains for community purposes. Yes. And I understand that we can do that. And to further test the market value test under the Local Government Act, I'd suggest a further recommendation that the sale be subject to further independent valuation from a valuer that potentially is not on Council's current panel, just to ensure full independence, and we proceed down that basis. So, sorry, Vicky, the recommendation would be amended to sale of the property subject to a further valuation from an independent valuer to test the value. A second condition that the sale be subject to a caveat on title being placed on the property that it can only be used for community purposes. And then there's the third recommendation there about the reinvestment of the funds back into the parkland. And if Council is happy that because there'll need to be some amendments made as we move down that process, I'm not sure there's the resolution in there that allows the CEO to finalise, delegates the CEO yes. the authority to finalise. So yep. Hopefully that covers the issues from a risk perspective. Mm-hmm.
So I agree certainly with the caveat on title as an additional recommendation to A to G in the report. The independent valuation as an additional recommendation, additional resolution. The third issue about using the surplus is already there in recommendation G. The Council may use any surplus proceeds in the disposal of land. Happy to leave that as it is, but that doesn't obligate the Council to use the surplus proceeds. I think that's signalling, that is signalling our intention would be to apply some part of this money to upgrade of the park, but I don't want to constrain Council's budget parameters overall. There might be other higher priorities in the community demands for sport and rec facilities than this. I don't know, but we're just not nailing 100% of our proceeds of sale towards this. But I think the current wording of that covers that adequately. Any other discussions on that matter? No, from the IMC? No. Okay, so we've got those resolutions A to G with the two additional matters. And then I need to briefly revisit, in adopting the Communities Committee report, I neglected to mention that at that Communities Committee report I'd identified another potential perceived conflict of interest regarding item 6 of that report, and that was regarding my former role as Economic Development Queensland General Manager, Ripley Valley Priority Development Area. There was some guiding principles adopted there, so I identified that. So I should have mentioned that at that point in time. Any other business? None? Declare the meeting closed at 9:55 a.m. Thanks.